Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where I can say I actually enjoyed something related to Dead Man mode. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, hello, welcome. We're a podcast that talks almost exclusively about old school RuneScape. This week is going to be a lot of talk about old school RuneScape, but also a scary thing for RuneScape players, stuff we did outside the game. But don't worry, it was related to RuneScape. If you guys are new here from Dead Man mode, if you guys met us at Dead Man mode, whether you had a friend who knew who we were, or we just sort of met you in line or at the venue or at the bar or wherever we were, hello, welcome. We're so glad you guys are here. If you're not new around here, y'all, I feel like we've been saying it a couple of times throughout the course of this podcast, how hypothetically PvP in person could maybe be a lot of fun to watch. Dude, it's better than we expected. That shit is so, as a matter of fact, I am going to send Michael a video and it's going to play on screen in a second here of the moment the Dino Nuggies won, what it looked like inside the arena from my POV.
Hit points, no food remaining. Dino 84AC had 2 food. Looking at the step as well. Looks like Beast has an attack. Dino will have a step attack as well. That BLS can hit 60. Can hit food.
Like I said, that shit was
Totally.
crazy. It was so cool.
It was the energy in the room for me. Like when you'd see a big Void Waker go off.
Dude, every
crowd would
Void Waker.
react.
Every Void Waker, dude.
Whoa!
Every
And the-
chance. Oh, God, it was
So
awesome.
good.
It was
Really,
awesome.
really good.
We're going to spend a majority of our time this episode probably just recapping Dead Man mode before we get into the community section in the second half of the episode. But before we really start, Michael, I have 2 things that I need to show you.
Okay. I'm
The
excited
first
because I know
is-
which one of them are.
The first is one that you're not going to think is relevant at all because you don't
Oh.
even know what we talked about it on the podcast before, but you're not going to know what it is. Nate Dogg recently went to Japan and was texting me like, hey, I want to go. Oh my God, he's so cute. He got me a Yveltal from the Pokemon
Oh,
Center in
look at that.
Japan. This thing
Cool.
is so cool, dude. Look at that. It's Japanese and everything.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Nate Dogg, this is so cool, dude. Yveltal is my birthday Pokemon, 717.
Oh.
So, yeah, this thing's, I love this little guy. The other thing that I have to open, because I didn't open them, I kind of forgot at first to open them. And then I thought it would be more interesting to open them on the show after I didn't open them for several hours. We're going to do a pack rip live on the
Hell
show, but not just
yeah.
any pack
Let's
rip.
go.
We're going to do the Dead Man mode. We're going to do the Dead Man mode cards pack rip. I'm going to see what side here. Hopefully I can open it not like a monster here. All right, I've fumbled with my package. Ayo, fumbled with the package enough here, and I've got the cards in front of me. I have not looked at any of them. They're fresh out of the package. So let's see who we got here. We've got Alfie. All right, sick.
Good start.
MMORPG. All right, sick.
Good start.
Skill specs. All right.
Good
all right.
start.
Mika. All right. All right. And then I think this is the
And
last
who's the
one. I think this is
captain?
the captain. Who do we got? Reese. Okay. One of the finalists. Hell yeah, dude. All right.
Let's
awesome.
go, dude.
The 6 set of
Good
cards.
stuff.
Alfie, MMORPG, skill specs, Mika. Dude, getting the skill specs card is hype. Getting the skilly card, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I think Michael,
what I ended
you
up
definitely did it right though. You definitely did it right.
Yeah. So I ended up with Skidler, Mr. Mammal, and these I traded for these. I don't think I have any of my originals. I have Mr. Mammal. I have Mika as well. I have a signed Alfie card, and then a signed solo mission card.
Yeah, that's the rare one. That's hype.
That's exciting.
These are
These
very
These
cool.
are so cool.
These are very cool. These, you know what these remind me of? These remind me, I think these are like the old top trumps. Because I know RuneScape had like a thing with top trumps for a little bit. So I think these
Really?
are the top trumps cards. Because it looks like we got PvP, PVM, strategy, previous best. This is actually super cool. This is a very cool thing that
And
Jagex
then
did.
I I
So
didn't even notice, but on the bottom it has like a little bio about them
yeah, a
as
little
well.
description about each of them. This is this is actually super cool.
And
I
this is what you get when you don't use AI. Like this is handcrafted
mm-hmm.
by the Jagex design team, and
Rendered
this
in
looks
their
great.
engine. This is fucking awesome. Always shout
Are
out
you
to
sure
the
that's not
design team.
Blender? I think that's Blender.
I mean, it's in their engine. It's exported to Blender. You can do that with Creator Kit. I know, like you can take a model in the game and export it to Blender.
Yeah.
So it's probably based on the game. They probably might do it a little differently than Creator Kit because they make the game. But point
Right,
is,
right.
yes, this is done by real artists. We love the art team over at Jagex. It's such a long shot. I feel like a new lifelong goal of ours should be to get RuneScape cards made.
Of ourselves.
Oh yeah, 100%. That'd be crazy to get RuneScape cards made of us. That's a pipe dream though. That's an absolute pipe dream. Oh, well, very, very cool. I was gonna wear the shirt that I got from Dead Man Mode. My AC is still broken. And if
Oh
I wear
no.
100% cotton shirt, I will sweat through it and it's gonna be disgusting. So Michael and I got the pre-order Dead Man shirts. Where do we want to start, Michael? Because this past weekend, so as for reference for you guys, it's Monday night. Michael got home earlier today. I drove home yesterday on Sunday, and we both spent probably the longest I've ever spent inside an arena for an event, probably ever in my life. So tell us about, or rather, in a theater, not in a venue, for like a convention.
Right.
Where are we going to start?
Well, I don't think enough people heard you bitch about your drive. So why don't you captivate the audience and
Uh,
continue the
I
saga?
I feel so bad for Michael. We met so many people, which I guess that's actually a great place to start. If you came up to us this week to introduce yourself, or you like met up with us from the Discord, absolutely like huge shout out and huge thank you to you guys. I think more people knew us in Chicago than they did at RuneFest, which really
Yeah.
does mean the world to us, right? Shout out to all the guys who were like hanging out with us and keeping us company. You know, it's kind of weird. Like you go into an event and like you don't know, like, is anyone gonna know who we are? Like we're in this big Discord. Is anyone gonna want to hang out? But like the very first night we were there, we met up with people. We met up with Strauss. We met up with Uncle K, who I have such a weird like interpersonal connection with because we both know the same people that we're both best friends with back home. We met up with Inkem and his wife. We met up with Splicer and his buddy Zach, and we spent the entire night with these folks. Right? We hung out at a tiki bar. We were playing cornhole together. We were shooting the shit. We were like meeting content creators together. I know like Strauss and us were in the same hotel, and then we met up with all these people again the next day. In addition to that, we met like, it's crazy to meet people from the clan that we've known for a while. So mind you, we're standing in line. We're standing in this big line, and somebody bumps into me and goes to dab me up, and I'm like, all right, who the fuck are you? And it was Ja Dead. I didn't know any
Oh
of those guys
yeah.
were coming. I was like, holy shit. Ja Dead Man Mode, Boston, D4 Drake. How are you guys? Like it was super cool to like see all those guys there. It was great to see them. And then I know we met PT Belt, we met Z the Pooh, we met some of our friends from Raids Bank. You guys listen to the Raids Bank podcast. Shout out to them. Hoyt was there. Got to meet Hoyt in person for the first time. We got to meet Curse Nibs, got to meet Shivershard, talk to Alex. Yeah, so many people from our clan, our community, so many fans of our show, and then so many people that we know like adjacently from other RuneScape communities. It was so much fun. If you said hi to us at any point, even if like, oh my God, Oxie didn't mention me, like the guy who stopped us in line on the way into Dead Man Mode, or the guy who stopped us on the way into getting tacos, or the dudes who stopped us on our way back to our hotel when Michael and I were kind of drunk on Saturday
Oh
night.
yeah.
Like if you guys stopped us at any point, we love you guys. Really, thank you so much. It was so much fun to like, because obviously you're like sitting waiting around for all the creators. It just feels crazy that like people are waiting and anxious to come and like talk to you. Like I remember
Mhm.
Splicer was so excited. He's like, "Oh my God, it's actually you guys." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, what's your in-game name?" And he's like, "Splicer." I'm like, "Oh, Splicer FE. Yeah, I know you from the CC." And his buddy's like, "See, he knows you." Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a really fun experience to have. So I guess that's probably the first and most important place to start. Before I start bitching about the drive, yeah, thank you guys. You guys rule.
A special shout out to all of the partner adjacent people that came. Like if you had your significant other there and they came and enjoyed the festivities, specifically shout out to Yessie, Income's wife. She was hanging out with us as well. And it was a good time. But yes, like it was so cool to see all of the couples that were there together. And some people brought their kids and like they had a little family that had the kids as well as the parents were dressed up as like they had Duriel 321, the wise old man. I think one of them was a gnome child. I can't remember.
Dude, the 3-year-old dressed up as, or the kid was like maybe 10, dressed up as Duriel. That was so cool, dude. That was such a cool outfit.
So cute and so wholesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
big shout out to everybody who came.
big shout out to them. Big shout out again to the significant others who know little to nothing about old school RuneScape. I really hope you guys were able to have a fun experience. Like the night before, we were talking to people, and we're like, if you don't know anything about RuneScape, think of it like a concert that you don't know any of the music to from the band. You don't know any of the songs, but you're gonna go and have a good time. And everyone we talked to after the fact pretty much said that's exactly how it felt. And that is so cool that we were able to have this experience as a community to the point where people who know fuck all about RuneScape, other than what we, the RuneScape players, tell them about every day, that they were still able to like cue into what was going on and what was really exciting and just be exciting to be there. Like my girlfriend was watching on Twitch for a little bit during like the final rounds, and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but it sounds like you guys are really excited. And I was like, dude, there's so much to explain. All you need to know, whenever you see someone slam a lightning bolt down, that's when everyone goes crazy. And she watched the clip and she's like, okay, yeah, no, I actually see it and I hear it. Like, I get it now. I'm like, yeah. So I gave her the entire spiel of what the Void Waker was once I got home, but over text,
Oh, cool.
I'm like, yeah, that's all you really need to know about for right now. So yeah, amazing experience meeting the community.
So they could hear the crowd cheering and roaring from the stream?
There's no way you couldn't. Like
Okay.
unless they
Yeah.
cut that audio out, which like there's no way. There's no way they cut that audio out. Like,
Because that's my favorite part. And I was hoping they had like ambient crowd noise microphones, or maybe they just got picked up by like they had pure spam and manked. Maybe it was their microphones that picked it up.
it could have been.
Oh, Fear says in the recording booth that they usually set up crowd microphones. So that's
Well,
cool.
let me tell you, it was a hype experience. So
All right, now you can bitch about your drive.
but I was saying, right, as we transitioned me bitching about the drive, because we met so many amazing people, I feel bad for Michael because I was kind of like commiserating with a lot of the people that drove to Chicago and telling the same stories maybe like 5 or 10 times over the weekend because it was the first time that everyone had heard it. It was like the 10th time Michael heard it because he's been with me for the entire weekend. And pretty much my drive into Chicago, I left way too late in the day. I left at like maybe 10 a.m., 10:20, and a 4.5 hour drive. What took me 4.5 hours 2 weeks ago to get to Pokemon Go Fest took me nearly 6 to get to Dead Man Mode. If you drove from Michigan or from anywhere in the Midwest, Ohio, Northern Indiana, wherever you came from, for some reason, instead of just getting on 294, it diverted us through like a subdivision for several miles. It was very weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
And the Indiana toll roads were making me just crash out. You got 3 lanes, only one of them's cash or credit. It's backed up half a mile. You're moving at a crawl. I literally got a sunburn from sitting still in traffic. I was pissed. I got to the hotel and I was ready to like snap my phone in half. I was not having a very good drive in. It was a miserable trip in. The trip back wasn't too bad, but it was a tough drive in.
Dude, parallels. My trip in was also delayed. Like my flight was delayed by
Yeah,
at
your
least 3 hours.
trip took fucking forever, dude.
Like we touched down in Chicago at like 6 p.m. ish,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to be getting there at like 3. It was crazy. The weather in the DFW was just bad all morning, and I think they had just gotten perpetually behind. They were just not able to catch up. But in contrast, my flight home, I was 20 minutes early. So like when the weather is nice and the skies are clear, you can get going. So it was a very, very big contrast.
Wow. Yeah, the trip home definitely the trip home wasn't too bad. The trip there was brutal. The hotel was nice. We stayed
The
a
hotel
couple
was nice.
hotels. We stayed at a couple hotels down from the Rosemont Theater. That whole area, Rosemont, was very nice. The Rosemont Theater was very cool. The first night we met up because Michael was actually with one of his friends. Why don't you shout your buddy out?
Oh yeah, shout out to Stefan. He's a creator on Whatnot, goes by Bygone Bricks. So if you're into Lego and you like collecting like specific sets, he does a show on Whatnot. It's an app every couple weeks or every couple days during the week. And that's it. That's basically his full-time job is like sourcing and selling Lego. So he came for the Lego convention that was in town. Funny story about that. Him and I were at my brother's house like a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't bought my tickets for Dead Man yet, luckily.
Your plane tickets for Dead Man.
Sorry, the plane tickets. He casually mentioned he was going to Chicago for a Lego convention. I was like, "Oh, dang. When is that?" He's like, probably like late June." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then it clicked. I'm like, "Wait, I'll be in Chicago in late June. What day is it?" And it turns out it was the same exact day. So right then and there, we both like coordinated and bought flights to be able to fly out together. Unfortunately, he came back like a day sooner, so we couldn't do the whole round trip thing together. But it was a lot of fun traveling with somebody just like non-committal. Like I've known this guy for so many years. Like we met in college, so it's a really just relaxed time and made traveling and having the delay that much better.
Yeah. So shout out to him. If you haven't gone already, go check him out on YouTube. You know,
I
not
think he is
YouTube,
on YouTube.
Whatnot. Is he on YouTube? I hope so.
He might have a YouTube.
It was so funny. He was talking to us on the way in. He's like, dude, it's weird. Like people are excited to meet me in real life. Like people have like talked to me about being excited to meet me. Michael and I just sort of looked at him like first time. it's it's weird at first. I'll admit it's weird your first time for like 20 seconds, you know? But
Yeah.
it's too good of an experience to not have, even with just like a slight bit of like, oh, you know me, you know me. Okay. Like it's so worth
Yeah.
it. Because you get over it so quickly.
It was a good time.
It was a really, really good time.
That first day when we got there, there was no Dead Man mode, like official events happening. So we just went to this little plaza square that was kind of behind the Rosemont Theater. And they had a couple bars and a really good Mexican spot. And that's where we ate for dinner at that Mexican spot. And then I don't know if it was planned, but like a bunch of the content creators had gone to that bar in the plaza or the nightclub or whatever it was, and they were all kind of like just filing out, and then people got word of it, and so that's kind of where we all just congregated until what, like midnight, 1 a.m.
Yeah,
I think
something
is
like
when
that.
most people left on that Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
which was a lot of fun. Got to meet some people. There were J mods out there and some content creators. That happened also Saturday night, but I feel like Friday night was better for the meeting of the people because towards the end of the night, some of the competitors were out there and they were getting gassed up and fired up for the event, trash talking other people, strategizing, all that kind of fun stuff. And it was fun to see.
Yeah, it really was. It was a really good time having everybody out there, chatting it up. Friday, we kind of ran into it by accident. Like we found the Fat Rosie's taco place, and then we're walking up, and there's just like shit. Like Michael says, it's like a bunch of creators. We're like, oh shit, that's Mod Ash. Like I think this is the place to be. Actually,
Mhm.
somebody stopped the first time somebody stopped us was there, and then we met up at a tiki bar with the folks from the Xpwaste podcast and hung out there until
Yep.
probably like maybe 10:30. And then we're like, let's head across the street and just like start chat, see who we could talk to. So met some cool creators, met some really cool fans, met a cool bartender who plays Pokemon Go. Shout out to Ryan. We're gonna be sending each other gifts from Chicago and Michigan back and forth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just say he low key hooked me up with free beers for on Saturday, which was fun. I only had like 2 free beers, so I wasn't like abusing the system or anything like that, but it was pretty chill. So shout out to you, Ryan, if you're listening to the show.
Hi,
But
Ryan.
yeah, it was a really good time. Really, really good time. Hopefully means more guests coming on the show at some point then.
I do think that this year will be more guests than we've had in the past. I think
And it's already June.
in
So
damn, and have we had anybody? One person? 2 people? I can't remember.
yeah. It's been a slow 2025, that's for sure. It's been a bit of a 2025, 2026. It's been a slow year for the XPO's podcast. Michael and I have been so busy that it's just felt like, like we're not falling behind, that isn't the right word, but we're just not putting out the same kind of content that we have been. So going to an event like this always feels really good to kind of rejuvenate and revitalize that, especially now after having gone back to weekly episodes. It's like, all right, yeah, this feels good again. Because when you're so busy, content creation does feel rough sometimes. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. It feels rough to come home after a long day and then talk about has been defeated. Oh, Tiz talk. That's his alt. Okay, never mind. I was like, huh? Corpse Duster got killed for 400 mil in the wilderness, but Tiz Talk Papa, he's got to know.
Sheesh.
He's got to know Tiz Talk Papa because I know the name. So
Sound the alarm.
I'm just gonna say like PK trade. I hope. Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
Oh, nice. He was just trading treads.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I figured. Yep. Okay, I figured that was the case. Just wanted to make sure that it wasn't fucking like oh hey, come PK me for my shadow. Anyways, back to the episode. That's a recording booth special right there. You don't get that. You don't get that on the show. That's a recording booth special. What was I even talking about, Michael?
Well, I think Friday was pretty much just hanging out with TNL folks and also with the community at that bar. Went to bed pretty late.
Went
and
to bed
then
pretty
Saturday,
drunk, I'll tell you that. Dude, I have not been tipsy at a bar in forever. But we get to the bar and Splicer looks at me and he looks at his buddy Zach and he goes, "Shots? What are we having? We having shots?" And I'm like, "Listen, dog, I'm like a green tea shot kind of guy." And he looked at me like I said it in a different language. And Splicer's like, "I was thinking tequila." And I know Zach was probably thinking Jack. I'm like, "You guys are going to fucking kill me, dude." Like, I'm not a big hard liquor drinker. But they conceded and they got the green tea shots and they're like, "Yeah, we agree. They're actually really, really good. Like green tea shots bang. What can you do?"
what is in a green tea shot? I know obviously green tea.
Nope. Funny enough, not green tea at all. It
Oh
is
god.
I've got the ingredients on top of my fridge. It's like peach schnapps. I'm just gonna look it up. I'm not even gonna try to sound like an idiot.
I guess it's the same thing as like a Long Island iced tea. Is actually not iced tea.
Yes, it is Jameson whiskey, peach schnapps, sweet and sour mix, and then some like 7-Up soda is usually what we use, 7-Up or Sprite. So,
Okay.
but no green tea. So it was really good. So after a shot and a tea, so he had a whole tiki drink that was just liquor, and then some shots, and then a couple of beers. Dude, I got back to the hotel. I laid on the most uncomfortable pull-out bed I've laid on in years. Texted the GF good night, and then just like gone. Like I was dead. Michael's like, "I was
Yeah.
up till 2:30 in the morning on TikTok." I'm like, "Brother, I was unconscious by the time my head hit that pillow. I was exhausted."
I did not want to be up until 2, but I had drank coffee like shortly after we got to the hotel. And I mean, drinking coffee at 6 p.m., it unfortunately keeps me up, even if I'm like ready to fall asleep. So I was like, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna watch some videos and try and fall asleep. But then Saturday is when all the fun happened. Do we want to do like our grievances first and then hype up the event? Because I have some grievances.
Let's do it in the classic sandwich style, right? So let's kind of go chronologically through how things went. Like we wake up
Okay.
early in the morning, we shower, get ready, look all hot, Mike and I looking like two babes heading down there. Get down to the hotel lobby for breakfast, and dude, that's when it starts. I see two people look up, and there's like, and I'm like, they know who I am, and they know who Michael is. I don't know who they are, but they know who we are. I get up to go get coffee. I come back. The socialite over here is already making conversation. So Michael meets these guys who I'm pretty sure are in the clan. And I apologize. I'm so sorry. We met. I forgot your guys' names.
It was before I had coffee.
But I remember hearing your guys' names going, "Oh shit, no, I actually know these guys." So our bad for that. But we're talking like meeting in the hotel lobby, which is awesome, right? Like I'm not even upset. Like I just was like, I know when people are looking at me. And I know when people are looking at me in a RuneScape context, it's like, oh, because they know Xpwaste. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
glad we got to meet you guys there. And then I actually met some friends of Mitchy Fox because they're like, "Oh yeah,
Really?
dude, our friends make those shirts." Because we're in my Duke shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I don't get a chance to meet them this weekend because we're staying at the same hotel, tell them they make the best clothes for big guys I've ever worn in my entire life. I'm actually wearing Fox's gear right now. I'm wearing the Halloween Zuck button up because it's that comfortable in the hot weather. It's very breathable. It's big. It doesn't feel like tight and constraining, and it's long enough too, right? Because at 5'6", I need shirts that like go along my torso and
To your
they're-
knees.
Yeah, they go down to my knees. You're right. But they're perfect for big guys. So Fox is killing that shit. Eat breakfast, meet up with our boy Strauss, and then we're walking to the venue. We left. They say doors open at 11:30, right? We leave the hotel at 11. We get there maybe 11:05, 11:10, maybe. The line, I want you guys to picture it. If the Rosemont Theater is the bank at the GE, the line is wrapped back through to the fucking Champions Guild when we get
Mm.
there. And the line gets progressively longer because again, we're like stopping to talk to people in line that know us. And we're like, oh hey guys, like we're not gonna cut. We're just gonna chat and keep on going. So we're in line and we're talking to people and we're meeting with our clanmates. And there were two guys in front of us from the Raids Bank community who looked over and they're like, oh shit, that's Oxie and Michael. So we're waiting in line for not that long. The line started moving pretty quick. RIP the folks who tried to line up on the other side of the Rosemont Theater.
Oh
And then
my
like
gosh.
500 people just flooded across the parking lot and like doubled the size of the line.
It was literally double the size. We were now in the middle rather than at the end.
It
Just
was
the
it
hordes
was
of people.
that big of a line. But honestly, the line went pretty quick. We
It
got
did
right
go quick.
in. The setup was awesome. They were playing music. All the staff who were handing out the wristbands were like, "Hey, welcome to Dead Man Mode. Like, you guys are here." It was way less cringe than RuneFest. They're all fucking clapping for us. That was the worst part of RuneFest. I'm sorry. RuneFest is a 9.99 out of 10. Please don't do a clapping tunnel again this year. It hurt.
A hot take. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I really liked the clapping tunnel. It felt like they were bringing the energy to that intro, to like coming into RuneFest for the first time in years. They brought the energy.
You know what? I'm here for it. If that's the only bit of cringe that we have to experience, if that's the trade-off, if none of it's cringe except the clapping, clap it up, you guys. Like I'm not actually serious about not doing the clapping tunnel,
Sure.
but like it was a really cool intro. There was signage everywhere, symbols for all the teams, awesome banners, and then we actually went to the second floor to get our merch first because we thought that's where we picked up our pre-order stuff. Got some sick merch. I got a poster. We got our shopping bags. Got free socks at one point. JMod, we're just walking by to go to the bathroom, and this JMod shouts like, "Who wants free socks?" And we're literally right there. Like, yeah, we'll take them.
Yoink.
I got some 73 socks, which are cool. Got our merch, kept meeting people. Got our pre-order merch, kept meeting people. XP wasters, particularly my fellow queers out there. I got to meet our boy Mod North. He's the only person I did not squat down next to when standing next to him for the picture. I did get to meet Mod North, and you bet your whole ass I asked him. Talker's typing in the chat right now, so I bet she's hot about that.
It was literally the first thing he asked him.
I did meet Mod North, and I did ask the question. I talked to him. I said, "Hey, I appreciate that you're a player and our CEO. That's awesome. You got a great appreciation for the game. Got a question to ask you. What's the deal with Pride?" And he told me that he was upset about the way everything went down last year. The recording booth is hot. I'm sorry, you guys are laughing. The recording booth is hot. So he said he was upset about the way the whole thing went down. And the way he worded it was they just removed one thing last year. They removed one thing from old school RuneScape last year, and it just sort of like blew out of proportion. Like Jagex hates gay people. And obviously, you know, Jagex, as we can see as outsiders, they promote a lot of diversity in who they hire, you know, backgrounds, genders, sexualities, races, ethnicities, whatever. There's a lot of diversity promoted throughout Jagex. And he said they still have plans to do a JMod sponsored march through June. So I told him I'd hold him to that. And he said there's still Tales of Pride in RuneScape, which I assume he means RS3. But we called his ass out and we showed him our merch. And I literally said, like, I am a queer representative of a large community. And he's like, "Oh, you guys have," I'm like, "Yeah, Roxy and Michael from the Xpwaste podcast." I pretty much looked at him and was like, "I know you've heard of us." like,
Yeah.
like, there's no way we've been as critical and you've not heard about who we are at this. But I did talk to him and I said, I'll be looking out for it. So I'll be looking out for Jagex to do some in-person events at this point for the last 5 days of June, because this episode airs on the 25th. So if between the 22nd and the 30th, I don't see nothing, I'm going to be disappointed. I don't know if I love the answer, if I'm being entirely honest. You know, I wasn't going to be an asshole and like push the issue right there. It was a very well trained answer. Not like that he was rehearsed, but like you could tell he's got some media training. He's a very professional guy. He's a very charismatic guy. I'll give him that, right? Charismatic dude, easy to talk to. Felt a little like a nothing answer because the one thing they took away was the in-game event in RuneScape. And he made some great points. He said, you know what, RuneScape is an escape for everybody. And he said it sucks that people now are it's their existence is controversial or something like that. So like, cool. I agree with your points. The one thing you took away is the in-game event. And it'd be one thing if we never had an in-game event to begin with. But for the last several years, we had one. We had to help Gilbert make the Flower Patch Rainbow. We had to help that trans knight get knighted and get accepted by their parents and then join Gilbert in the Grove. Like a tear-jerkingly good story. We had that with in-game rewards and in-game recognition. And then we got a new CEO and it disappeared. And not only did that disappear, there's also been no posts on Jagex's Instagram. I've not seen Twitter. I just re-downloaded Twitter today, which, by the way, I'm sorry, Mod Sween, that I left you undelivered for 4 months. I just re-downloaded Twitter today. So you see a DM from me. Sorry, didn't mean to be 4 months late on that. But I haven't seen anything they post on Twitter because obviously I haven't had it. But I've seen no Pride posts on their Instagram. The RuneScape logo hasn't turned rainbow this year. There's been no pushing of their Pride merch, right? Which a lot of people were wearing, the little rainbow party hat, you know? And I understand Michael and I are on our liberal woke bullshit. If you guys were at Deadman mode, RuneScape players are a little gay, you guys. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, as a queer fella, as a bisexual man myself, I see them. I know who you guys are, right? The queer community was out there, the trans community was out there. It was awesome. So many people were there to support this amazing game that we all love. And we had an event. We had promotional Pride merch. And we had cool Instagram posts. And now it feels like we don't have shit. And I know it's like the one thing that got taken away. I get it. It's the one thing that got taken away. I'm not saying Jagex is an anti-LGBTQ company. Obviously not the case. But the one thing that got taken away is the thing that kind of meant the most to the people that it affected in the community. So until the in-game event comes back, I'm still standing on business that we need more pride in old school RuneScape. So like I said, I do appreciate Mod North's answers. He was very charismatic. And when he offered to take a picture with us, he said, why don't we get a picture together? So we took our picture and he said, anything else on your guys' minds? Michael and I jumped on that opportunity. We said, podcast category at the Golden Gnomes. Let's shout out the medium. We even said, we said our famous lines like, we don't care that we lose to Sebe. We just want the category recognized. Sebe, Boon Bape, Raids Bank, Loop Beam Lounge, Wilderness Podcast, hell, even Based Podcast, because all those guys were there. Anybody, and of course, your favorite RuneScape podcast, Xpwaste. Let's get the category out there. Let's get it recognized. And he was very appreciative of that. He said he'll make a note of it, and he's like, that's actually a really good idea. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's see podcast category at the Golden Gnomes, and fingers crossed, let's see a Pride event in 2027. Because we heard there was some political stuff, and there was some other. No, it wasn't political. It was like legal stuff that Mod North couldn't really talk about of why the event was canceled. So, for any of the XP wasters out there curious, you're damn right I asked the question. You know, but
yeah, I'm excited about the prospect of the gnomes, the gnome category, golden gnome category. And it seemed like if we could convince him as the CEO to at least acknowledge it, there's a good shot that we get it this year. There's still enough time for them. They haven't released any gnome, like golden gnome, like voting or anything for nominations yet. RuneFest is still months away, so we have time. And I think it's going to happen. I'm very optimistic for some reason.
Needless to say, Michael, I do sincerely apologize if my vitriolic fight for the LGBTQ community is what prevents us from getting those goddamn creator bans at RuneFest. I sincerely do apologize, Michael.
It's worth it.
But I'm standing on business on this issue. But
we're still going to RuneFest anyway.
We're
so.
still we're still going to Rune. Unless they
It's not
actually kick
making or
us out,
break
we're
it
still
for us.
going. It's not making a break. We're still going to RuneFest. You're right. But after that interaction, it was nothing but smooth sailing, dude.
Yeah,
You know what wasn't smooth sailing? Sitting in the venue.
I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's-
Pop off, King. Michael's got some issues. Let him cook. What do you got?
Overall, the event, like S tier, amazing event, right?
9.8 out of 10.
Exactly. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. That 0.8, there were some issues. The two biggest ones were what Oxie just mentioned, which was the lack of AC in the actual venue, or maybe there was AC, but we're just like, there's 4,000 people and they have smoke machines going and lights going, and there's a door open, and they had multiple doors open. So like the AC in the actual theater was just like almost non-existent. So it was very, very warm in the theater itself. And that made it hard to want to sit in there long term and enjoy the things that they had between the matches. Like they had a trivia thing, they had announcements, they had promos that they were playing. But like as soon as a match ended and there was that like 15-minute lull, I was out of there. I was going and walking around and getting some like colder air back in like the lobby area.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing. And the second thing that really sucked was just like the food situation. And I was talking to my wife about it, and I've been bringing it up with a lot of people. But the fact that there was no re-entry, couldn't leave and come back, made it very much like you felt trapped in the actual venue, which was made worse by the food and drink offerings that they had available. That poor venue, like the workers there, they were not given a chance to succeed by whoever ordered the products, because a lot of the times they were just out of different things, but the things that they did have were like egregiously expensive. $8 for a bottle of water.
You thought those servers were on a pirate ship, the way they were shouting orders at one another. No more hot dogs. No more hot dogs. Pretzels on the port side. I need 3. What? Dude, they were, especially on that main floor mezzanine, or the main floor area, not up in the mezzanine. They were unfortunately not prepared. And I don't think they weren't prepared for the amount of people. They weren't prepared for how long the people were going to be there.
That's fair.
I
It was a
will-
very long event.
I'll concede that like being at the venue and not being allowed re-entry, that's just a cultural thing in the United States. Like if you guys either aren't from the US or you're not, like privy to US arenas, you don't go to a whole lot of concerts, leaving and coming back in isn't a thing. If your only experience has been at RuneFest, where for the non-Americans out there, or the Americans who have not gone to RuneFest yet, holy fucking shit. The NEC security is nothing like what you guys are used to. The NEC is like, don't bring a knife. Whatever. Dude, we walked through security at the NEC, which was just some old people going, yep, come on through. Yep. Like maybe a metal detector, like, yep, come on through. The only thing they were uppity about was which door you came in and which door you came out.
Yeah.
Like to get into the NEC. But that's not the case at like in American stadiums. Whether it's a professional sporting event, a college sporting event, a concert, a musical, a play, whatever it is, leaving the venue for any reason and coming back in just isn't a thing. And they were courteous enough to allow a smoking section outside for people, but like usually exiting the venue for any legitimate reason, like going to get food and coming back, is just never a thing that happens in the US. So if you guys were blindsided by that, sorry, y'all.
It's quite unfortunate.
Somebody should have told you. It's our bad. But the food was very expensive. And again, I don't think it would have been as much of an issue if we weren't there for as long, which I think for me leads to I don't know if gripe is the right word, but my biggest critique and my biggest suggestion for next season. Fear actually, as a wonderful transition, Fear Garden says, how long would you say y'all were there? Doors opened at 11:30. We got in maybe 11:45 because of this big ass line. We did not leave the venue until 9 p.m. Eastern time, or 9 p.m. Central time. We were in the venue for about 10 hours.
with access to pretzels, hot dogs, and nachos.
And some
And like
little like
really
pork
expensive.
slider things. They were very expensive.
Oh, I
Expensive
didn't even
drinks.
know where those were.
Yeah, Michael couldn't find. He's pissed he couldn't find them, but they were like it was just expensive. The point was we were there for a really long time. I don't think it's
Yeah.
the fault of the Rosemont that everything is so expensive. That's just again how stadiums are. Sorry guys. Cultural thing. Should have told you if you've not really been.
Well, I would say that I wouldn't have been as upset with the length of time we were there if at least they would have given us free water because it's so hot and you're walking around and like I didn't see a single water fountain, let
No.
alone somewhere to fill like a water bottle.
So I think the problem is, and Michael actually pointed this out while we were there. The Rosemont Theater is a beautiful venue. Beautiful venue. Great choice to hold Dead Man Mode at. You do not go to the Rosemont Theater for a 10-hour day. You go to the Rosemont Theater for a 3-hour play with a 20-minute intermission in the middle
Yeah.
of it, right? Like
Right.
you don't go to that theater for that long a period of time. So my biggest critique, my biggest suggestion for next year, Jagex, if you're listening, if you guys haven't turned off the show because we kind of, went after Mod North a little bit, I think it has to be 2 days. I think the event, if we're going to do it in person
Absolutely.
again, which please do, it was so much fun as a spectator. It's so worth it to do again in person. IMO. I think it needs to be over 2 days. I think it needs to be a 2-day event. I think we need to have a pool day, like a group stage day on Saturday. And I think we need to have the championship on Sunday, right? I know that extends the stay. I know that makes it vastly more expensive because you guys have to get more hotel rooms and you have to extend the trip and you have to rent the Rosemont for another day. If we're going to prioritize the live viewer experience, I really think we should consider having that second day because it was just tough to be there all day. Because at one point it's like, okay, I don't know how long I can sit and watch these guys kill each other. Like it's super exciting to watch and I love being here. I don't know how long I can just sit and do nothing for a while.
Right.
Right. So definitely divide it up into 2 days. My other critique, if we're going to do this live, right? If we're not going to do this live again, it was great. I'm so glad I got to be there for the one and only in-person Deadman mode. I'm shocked if they don't. I was telling people all day that because people kept asking, oh, let's do an American Rune Fest. American Rune Fest is not feasible because the Jagex, like JMods, who are not content devs, staff the event. They staff the merch table. They staff the entryway. They staff all sorts of stuff. Even some content devs, like, shit, my Black Witch was giving out merch when we first walked in. She's a artist for RS3. So, like, the JMods are a really big part of RuneFest. And it is absurdly expensive to ship them all over to the US. But you can get a smaller handful over there once a year for Deadman mode. And I think a live event like Deadman mode is perfect for a US based event. If we're going to do it live again, we need to optimize the viewing experience for the people in the venue. Now, if you
Yeah.
guys are watching at home, if you're like me and you have the standard 24-inch gaming monitor, right? 27-inch, 32-inch, whatever it is, you guys are probably able to see pretty clearly what was going on. The screen was not that clear in the venue. It was big. It was a very large screen. So I heard that people on the upper deck had a really hard time seeing things. Michael and I were on the lower deck. We were fortunate for that. So we got to see it very well, but not very clearly. The inventories were very small. And it was very zoomed out, right? So it was hard to see the players from the kind of God's eye Overwatch view of the fight. When we snapped into the individual creators, then it was crystal clear.
Yeah.
We could see their inventory, we could see their health bar, we could see what damage numbers they were hitting. But when they went to the bird's eye view, it was very difficult to see. It was very difficult to see any of the numbers that they had. Like they had their health, their prayer, their spec bar on the streamer's cameras. It was very difficult to see that. And I think it would serve you guys well to make the inventory sizes a little bit bigger, make the
Yeah.
text boxes a little bit larger and a little bit more clearer, and optimize the viewing for the people at the arena. And then whether you stream the version that's at the arena or you stream a different version that's better optimized for a computer screen, then so be it. I think that was those are my only two critiques. Break it up into 2 days, optimize the screen experience for people there. As RuneScape players, we know what's going on. I don't need to see a crystal clear image of a weapon to know what the weapon is. We also know the sounds by heart because they were playing with game sounds, not game music, but they had all the game sounds on. So you heard the bolt procs, you heard the Void Waker specs, you heard, you know, like the Vestas
ice
longsword
barrage.
stats, the ice barrages, you heard the splashes, you heard everything. And we're RuneScape players who have engaged in PvP, so we knew enough of what was going on to be able to see, right? Like to be able to like get really hype and really excited because it was a really exciting time. It was just tough to see.
Yeah. Fear brings up a good point. You should have like multiple screens and then one screen dedicated to the player's POV and then the other for the other player. And then the middle is the bird's eye view. They had 3 screens, but they were all playing the same thing.
And the 2
So
screens on the sides
unfortunately,
were smaller and harder
they were
to
smaller.
see.
Yeah. I feel like it would have looked like if I was watching this at home, I probably could have put it on my TV and it probably would have looked great. And then like a computer screen would look great. A phone, I can imagine the phone was also maybe hard though with how small it was. So if you found that it was small on your phone, that's kind of what we're getting at is that middle screen that they had. While it was a pretty big screen, they could have just scaled up the UI ever so slightly for
Mhm.
the people who were like way back. Because like I have glasses with decent vision, and from probably we were on the bottom, probably right. I'd say towards the back, middle back. Like it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah,
Like
it was just hard to see the details.
yeah,
Yeah, again, very cool. And if I had to go back again and they say like, "Hey, we'll give you 2 days, but we physically can't change the size of the screen because that's what Rosemont can offer." It's not a make or break. I'll still go. Like,
yeah.
I'll still go because I think it was absolutely worth it. It was absolutely worth it to go to, absolutely worth it to check out. So that's those are just my 2 big critiques, right? Like, would it be nice to not have to spend $8 for a bottle of water in an 82-degree room? Yeah, it probably would. Am I gonna bitch about that to the nth degree? No, because that's everywhere you go. There's not really gonna be a place where we can go in the United States that's going to be like, oh, hey, you're at a venue with 10,000 people, water's free. That's just not how we roll over here, unfortunately. So it's always going to be expensive, which sucks. But to me, that's not a make or break. To some people, it is. I overheard some people being like, yeah, dude, we're Canadian. This is essentially a $25 beer for us. Like it
Ugh,
was that expensive. So,
ugh.
and it was just like a 16-ounce Miller, too. So,
It's like a regular can.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
it's so the prices are not Jagex's fault, is what I'm saying. Like the expensive, the prices, like how the Rosemont Theater does or doesn't have air circulation when there's that many people in the venue. I would not blame those things on Jagex. I think that's just
No.
the fault of the
Yeah, no.
venue. Or even just like how the venue, like maybe we choose a different venue next time. Maybe it's in New York. Maybe it's probably not California. Maybe probably not New York either. But like either way, I
They
thought
could
it was
find
a
somewhere in Dallas. Dallas is pretty central and a
Texas
good
is
hub.
hot.
It's an inside event though. We got the best AC in town, baby.
We got good AC too over here in the Midwest, and clearly you look how well that worked out for us. Like, I think Chicago is a good place to have it. I think Rosemont was a fine place to have it, but 2 days if we're gonna do it in person again, because you have to think, right? The event started at 1 p.m. Central Time. That means that bitch started at like 7 p.m. for people in England,
Oh,
and it
right.
went for
Holy.
8 hours.
Oh,
Could you imagine
I didn't even
if
consider that.
if you were at home, dude, let's say you're like the biggest Dino fan, the biggest Bodhi fan, the biggest Torvesta fan in the world, and you're trying to watch these boys from back home in England, and you're up until 3 o'clock in the fucking morning or whatever it is, or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. when this event wrapped up, it's just a long day, dude.
Yeah.
It's just a long day. It's even like, even as the viewer experience, it's a long day to sit in front of a computer.
I feel like, yeah, unless you're really committed, people are probably just catching highlights after the
Mhm.
fact, which is unfortunate because the whole thing was so well done. It was very, very well done. Like,
Mhm.
my gripes are not at anything Jagex really had control over. I agree with Oxie on his 2 points. Like the length of the event was jarring. Like I did not expect to be there until 9 p.m. And then just the AC and what all that. None of that was Jagex's fault. Everything that Jagex had control over, the atmosphere, the vibes, the event itself, all of
Oh, it
that
was
was 10 out of 10.
pristine.
10 out of 10.
Pristine. The vibes were off the chain at Deadman Mode. That was phenomenal. They did an excellent job of setting the scene for Deadman Mode and making it exciting to come to. They did such a good job with that.
Jax Wright says the time you were there was definitely their fault. I guess, but in the grand scheme, I think the reason it went so long was just stuff that they didn't have control over. You're coordinating so many different people getting on and off stage. You have all the players to contend with, the behind the scenes of the actual production itself. These were not conscious decisions that Jagex made to say this is going to go till 9 p.m. no matter what. Like I think they just got behind,
They
which is
did.
understandable.
And it's one of those like, part of me is like, why do we need an hour-long break? And if you think about it, we need an hour-long break so that Modmanked Pure Spam can have a break. Because
they were going
they
at
talked
it.
nonstop. They were great commentators. I know you guys. I know how vocal I've been. Speaking of not being nice to J mods, how vocal I am about whenever Modmank gets on the microphone, just take that shit away from him if he's talking about a PvP update. But man, did they do a good job casting. Modmanked
really
and Pure
did.
Spam, like this is one thing that I really did appreciate why Mod Manked was there specifically. The knowledge that man has on PvP that he just kept sprinkling in throughout the broadcast. Oh, 10 out of 10. The broadcasters were great. Wearing those sweaty ass outfits with them big ass hats. Like that's probably why they needed to take a break for an
Respect.
hour.
Huge
But
respect. Like
God, they did such a
eh,
good job.
they started at 1 and then the break happened around dinner time. So maybe they got to eat some lunch before. And obviously, like, yeah, they needed a break. All of them needed a break. I imagine during that hour intermission, people just like scarfed down food, drank some water, ate some snacks.
Yeah.
It was definitely needed.
It definitely was. And JX Riot, you know, it's their job. JX Riot says it's their job to know ahead of time to some degree. And they did. They just overshot how long they were going to be there for whatever reason that was. I don't know why y'all keep bringing. I guess the guy they brought out for trivia. Michael and I were not in the room for trivia. We ignored all that shit. We met fans. We met clanmates. We had a good time in the lobby. But I guess the guy they brought out for that was the same guy they had host the Golden Gnomes last year at RuneFest.
He was kind of polarizing. He had some interesting jokes last time.
Yeah, I guess
So
he started our boys were telling us afterwards, Boston, Ja, all that, and they were telling us that like he started a fuck yeah chant that people were like, why are we doing this? Like, how old are we? So
and it went on a long time. I
did like
heard.
a shoey on stage. Like, I don't know who that guy is. And I didn't see much of it, so I'm not going to be overly critical. But if that's what's going on, like, how are we going to have the utmost professionalism with two broadcasters who are fucking RuneScape players and streamers who you think could be professionals? Like, these guys could commentate the fucking World Cup. They did that good of a job commentating this game. You break out Chris Archie, Mod Aiza, and Mod Ash to get on stage, introduce the captains, hype up the crowd, and present all that stuff. And then you bring out Solo Mission, the chief executor of all of this Deadman Mode stuff, all the interviews with the captains, and then you let this, I don't even know his name. I think he used to be like Raj Patel on Twitch or something like that. I think that was his big controversy. Like he pretended to be an Indian dude for several years or something like that. That's what I remember hearing about him. I don't know if that's true or not. I never watched him on Twitch.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But you bring this guy out who's like doing shoeies and having fuck yeah chants. Like it just seems off. Like there's such a high standard for what was there,
Yeah. Very
and then
professional.
it's just like unprofessional in a different way. Like someone can make the same argument, like, well, you have Odablock up there shouting and fucking the entire time, and you have like all the
Yeah.
players being vulgar to each other. Like Torvest at one point flipped off skill specs from the other side of the room while they were fighting. That's a totally different experience. when you have competitors getting excited and talking shit and being the persona that they are on their streams and in their YouTube videos, and then having that like be compared to a host who just, from at least what I remember from RuneFest, was not to the caliber of what those J-mods brought. I don't
No.
know, that I just thought that was strange, but I don't know what that was all about. Otherwise though, other than the 2-day event time, how do you think a 2-day event time would go? How do you think that would go? Like, let's say Jagex gets infinite money, and they can bring out all the teams for this. Like, how do you think that would go?
Saturday and Sunday, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, Saturday, you could have a good amount of the actual fights up until you get to the semifinale, and then have the semifinal and then the final on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe, like, I don't know, bring out Cole Roland and have a concert, or
Because he was there, yeah.
maybe do like a RuneFest light where you have some like activities that people can do other than just walking around and, getting merch. Because that was one thing I really enjoyed about RuneFest was the fun things that you could do that weren't like the actual events.
Mm-hmm.
The cards were a nice touch, but there felt like a lot of downtime where you were either just standing in a line to get food, or maybe you were standing around in a circle talking to people.
To their credit, they had a nice photo stand with the dead man background. There was a
Yeah.
great opportunity to take pictures with all your friends. And if you wanted to, you could go in the back where those little back corner bathrooms were, and you could meet various creators throughout the evening, right? Throughout the day, people would, like, if they weren't playing, they were like, when you got your card signed by Alfie, it was when his team wasn't up for a set. So, like, when
Right.
people weren't out playing, they were interacting with the community, because we have the best community in the world. Like, I know we joke about it with Xpwaste, but like, damn, y'all don't know how good you have it until the biggest creators in our space are just like, oh hell yeah, dude, what's going on? Like, hell yeah, let's take a picture. Like,
Yeah.
you guys
Very
don't know how
wholesome.
good you have it. They're great people. They really are great people. Yeah, so I agree though. I think having something to supplement, because the group stage was fun. It was 6 matches. And it took from like 1 p.m. to probably like 5 p.m. So it was a good like 4 hours of PvP. With the
Right.
commentating and the stats, like, I think it's a perfect time block. A good 4-hour event inside the theater. Go home, get some dinner. Let's come back to the bars later at like 7 or 8 o'clock, hang out, get some food, socialize, do more meet and greets and shit. Cool. And maybe then, like, but again, the Rosemont doesn't do before and after like the NEC does, where you can't, because they had an after party for RuneFest. It
Oh, right.
wasn't like at the NEC where you can go to the Witherspoons and come back and check it out. You leave the Rosemont, you're gone for good, right?
Right.
But maybe
Right.
they have an official after party somewhere else. And then on Sunday, you drag it out a little bit longer, because the semifinals, you figure we started at 6, we got done at 9, took about 3 hours or so. With the semifinals and the best of 3 final. If that's the case, I think Michael's right. Bringing some live music in there would be really cool. I don't think we need to do a big long trivia game, but I think, that's when we get the musicians, it's when we get the cosplayers, it's when we get just some like other supplemental stuff. Like,
Right.
maybe drop a trailer at Dead Man Mode. Could be fun. Like, it could have been a really hype thing to watch. Like, okay, so we're in between the semifinal and the final. And while our contenders for the 2 teams, the Dino Nuggets and the Reese Rhinos, while they're waiting to get back on stage, we have something special for you. He may have been knocked out, but please welcome No Monkey back to the stage to get a first look at fighting the Worm King from the
Oh,
new
that would have
Blood
been
Rune Miser. Like,
sick,
that'd be
dude.
fucking hype, dude.
That would have been so
To
cool.
like kill the boss a couple of times. Like, could you imagine you get the big, like, the chain mace drop or whatever it's gonna have live? Do you imagine how hype that is? If somebody killed Doom live and got treads before it came out, that's huge. Even if it was like a test build, like, that'd be. I know you can't facilitate that like at RuneFest, where everyone could try sailing, or everyone could likely try Fred at the upcoming RuneFest. Like, I know we can't do that, But I think there's a lot of really good ways. You're absolutely right to like drag it out and supplement it and have two like 4-ish hour days rather than one big ass 9-hour day.
Yeah, I mean that would solve almost all of my quarrels that I had with the event, which I don't want to make this like the negatives sound like they were the main thing that we were focused on. The AC and the lack of good food, it really was just an annoyance rather than like I'm gonna leave because I am pissed and this whole event
And
sucks. Like,
and perhaps it's something that the Rosemont Theater can improve for next year because they know, holy shit, you guys, we had this event last year and we were in hell. Like,
yeah,
what if we are better prepared for this upcoming year? And then next year, it's just not an issue.
yeah.
Like next year, it could be a non-issue. It could not be a problem because the Rosemont improved some things. But everything else about the event, I really don't want you guys to think that we're here to shit talk it. Deadman Mode All Stars Season 3, the finale, was one of the coolest things I think we've ever witnessed in RuneScape live, like
I don't
in
know if
person.
for me it beats RuneFest proper. It's definitely in number two.
It's
And of the two things that we've did, we've gone to, I mean, if you count like meetups that we've done, like Xpwaste meetups, those are on the list. But one and two is definitely RuneFest and Deadman Mode for me. Nothing beats RuneFest at this point. Maybe RuneFest will beat RuneFest, but that was
I
a magical experience.
I agree. RuneFest, it really is. I hate to sound corny as fuck. It really is a magical experience. You guys are gonna love it. I think it's a very different vibe than RuneFest because of what it is, right? Like
The vibe was definitely good though.
as a sports fan, as someone who can really get into his favorite teams, i.e. the Lions, the Michigan State Spartans. I have my favorite professional fencers that I like watching, right? As someone who's grown up getting really excited when that kind of stuff happens, having that translate to RuneScape in that setting where like, oh, I don't have to be like quiet in my apartment because someone hit a Void Waker spec. I'm just sort of looking at it on my second monitor, like, oh, cool. Like to have an entire arena erupt on a KO is it's something that you just like as a RuneScape player or as a video game player in general, you just don't expect to see, right? Like unless you're part of the few communities that have that. If you've gone to like a League of Legends event or an Overwatch event, or you've gone to like one of the old Fortnite events back in the day, right? Like if you've gone to that and you've seen that level of excitement, sure, that's awesome. But there's a very real chance that most games don't have that. And the fact that RuneScape is now one of those games that has it, oh my God, it's so
That
good.
like your point totally valid, but to add to that, it was done, yes, but done very well.
Mm-hmm.
How the event took place really could have like made or broke it, made it or broke it, whatever the term is. It could have been really good or really bad, and they made it really good. Like as somebody who doesn't like PvP, doesn't really get into watching like PK videos, I'll watch highlights, but like I didn't consume any of the content leading up to the actual event, and I still had a blast.
Oh my
And it
God,
was
going in
still,
blind didn't matter. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
exactly.
so good.
It would have just made it that much more exciting had I watched it because they were like the pre-game, the preamble of the two teams going up against each other. It was really cool because they would like they would show each player's loadout, and then they would give commentary on, oh, Torvesta has the Vesta's longsword, the VLS, and we're really going to see that shine if they can make it to the end, and this could be a make or break. So it's like, yeah, getting to see the teams prepare themselves and gear themselves up, and in the antics that ensued would have been that much better, but it was still amazing just going in blind and not knowing anything and not really caring about the outcome. Because like I had like content creators that I admire and I respect, and I'm like, oh, I like that person, so maybe I'll root for this team. But going in it with like not really caring what the outcome was, just as long as somebody won and they had fun, it was really really good.
Mhm. The Perp Rebels really grew on me as the day progressed. So it was
Yeah,
disappointing to see them get knocked out, but of the two, I think While I am a big Torvesta fan, I think I'm more a fan of the folks on the of the Dino Nuggies.
So who was on that team? I know it was
Dino,
Curtis.
Bodie, it was Dino, Bodie, 61 mil, MMORPG, and Sick Nerd.
Good group of folks. And they played their heart out. Like nobody went easy on anyone. And for the most part, we didn't really see many like just knockouts. People were on their A game. Most of the fights went to the last piece of food, and it was just a matter of surviving and catching those redemption procs, which was insane, by the way.
Yeah.
That is tactic I did not know existed in the PvP community. And maybe it's just for like these types of fights, but being able to stay alive with redemption that way, insane.
Yeah, unless you
Absolutely
get truly
crazy.
KO'd. It's watching these fights and knowing what I know about my skill set in PvP, I'm dead immediately.
Yeah.
I'm dead because
Same.
you want to know why? I don't expect someone to fucking double Void Waker off the rip. Because
Right.
they're gonna regen their spec throughout the fight. What do you mean they're gonna get more than 2 specs throughout the fight? What? I
It
would have
lasts that
been
long.
dude, I would have been shit all over if I competed in that event. So it's just cool to watch, you know? Very,
Yeah.
very, very cool to watch.
I think the best thing about being there live for me was the atmosphere. And it was hearing the crowd go wild and the commentators getting excited. Just the whole live aspect of the event was top tier. Like I was trying to think as I was sitting there, is this something that I would even care to watch on Twitch? Like would I spend my Saturday watching this? And truthfully, I don't think I would have. This would have been like one of those nothing events for me where maybe I would catch some highlights, read up on, what happened, but truly I don't think that I would have even cared. So it's really cool that the in-person aspect is what made it so fun. And also seeing all the people out and meeting folks and meeting content creators. That was a big part of it as well. But if I truly just think about it, it was being there that made it all worth it. And maybe that's why I don't like sports. I'm not a big sports guy, and I'm not the most competitive person either. So I don't really go to sports to care too much about the game itself. I'm there for the atmosphere. I'm there for the experience of the game itself. So it kind of translated into DMM, funny enough.
As a big sports guy, this shit was awesome.
Yeah.
If
I
you
can
guys like
imagine.
watching any sport, that shit was awesome, dude. Like, it was really, really good. I don't know what much more I have to say. I mean, Sunday was pretty chill. We were out pretty late on Saturday, got to meet some cool people. Shout out to Solo Mission for still knowing who we are after all these years, which is just very cool. Because again, like I brought this point up to a lot of the people that we were with, right? Like I've got perhaps an inflated view on it. Like you guys can feel free to check my ego in the Xpwaste chat because I get it, right? It's not deserved. A lot of these guys, a lot of these creators that we meet, they're huge, right? And they're so awesome to me. It's like surreal to see these people in real life. On the other hand, I'm also getting stopped 40 times in a weekend to shout me out for my show and how people listen to me on their way to work. How they listen every day because they're trying to catch up because they only started listening a couple months ago. How they're wearing our merch. Shout out to Mikey, our merch
Shout out to Mikey.
to the fucking event. Like, so in some way, it's like this is so cool that these guys who we idolize are here, but at the same time, peers? Question mark? In a degree, in a way,
To a degree, yeah.
right? Not to the same. Obviously, we don't have 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. I get it. I'm not trying to say that we are the equivalent of Bodhi, but from a content creator space, it feels less like a fangirl and more like a peer.
Mhm.
So when people were coming up to us and talking to us and hanging out with us for a little bit, being like, "Holy fuck, dude, there's Foe. Oh my god, there's Mod Ash. Like, I want to go talk to him." We're just like, "Okay, go. Just go say hi. Let's just go wait."
Get
I
over
know
there.
waiting in line is awkward. The only line waiting we did was for Solo Mission and for Dino, and God, that was awkward as fuck. I hated waiting in line. It just feels awkward. You're just like standing there like idling around while it's like they're having their conversations. It's like it just feels weird. But that feels weird in any situation in life, right? Waiting to talk to someone. Weddings, funerals, birthday parties, whatever it is, it just feels weird. But when you think about it in this context of RuneScape, right? Our biggest content creators, Bodhi, Framed, Torvesta, right? People who have 500,000-600,000 subscribers on YouTube, who have been in the game for a decade, tons of Twitch subscribers. In the grand scheme of popular content creators, small fish in an ocean, dude. You look up someone like fucking Markiplier or PewDiePie, who have hundreds of millions of people subscribed to them. You look at Twitch streamers like Ninja, who used to relatively pull like 60,000 people per stream to tune in and watch. None of those people are at that level. So, like, yeah, it's crazy that every time Bodhi goes live, he has 2 or 3,000 people watching. That's very small compared to some of these other creators, and it helps the big creators in the RuneScape community still be just a bunch of people who like playing RuneScape. I did not witness a single negative interaction with anybody there. I
Right.
understand, like, maybe sometimes the J mods are tired, right? Because I know like Elena and Kieran stopped by for like 2 minutes on Saturday. We saw them for like a minute and then they left because, like, I get it. You guys are at work, like it's tough sometimes. But the creators and even the J mods, when they're there socializing and meeting people, nobody's above anybody else. You have I met Dear Lola, rank 2 Inferno streamer on Kick and on Twitch and all that. And I thanked him for, watching the streams and helping for I got my Inferno cape like 4 years ago. He's like, "Oh, did you get it recently?" I'm like, "No, dude, I got that bitch in like 2022." I'm just saying, like, I've been following along, watching every now and then. So, like,
Yeah.
it's cool to meet these people, and they're like, dude, they're congratulating you and sharing in the excitement of your achievements and things like that, maxing people's accounts and shit. It's a very cool environment. So if you guys do get the opportunity to go and meet these creators in real life at a Rune Fest or a Dead Man mode, just go walk up to them and say hi, because they're incredible people. A
Yeah.
lot of fun. A lot of fun to be around.
That brings up like probably one of the last things I want to talk about. But I really hope that in the future with these like creator specific events that they have more organization when it comes to like meet and greets,
Mhm.
because the amount of times I was stopped, it never became an issue. I was never stopped from going somewhere that I wanted to go. But I saw people like Oda Block and some of the more popular streamers probably just trying to maybe go to like the bathroom, or maybe they want to get a bottle of water, or they have to get across to the other side of the theater, and just getting constantly pulled aside for conversations and photos and autographs. Like they needed more dedicated meet and greet spaces for these creators, just so that
Mhm.
people could not feel so crowded.
That's an excellent point.
I'm imagining like they could have tables and then just sit all the players of the table down, and then when you're going, you line up, and as you go, like you can go down the line and either shake people's hands or get autographs, and then once you're out of the line, you've met all your players.
Kind of like how they do it at conventions and things like that.
Exactly, exactly. And if you want pictures, not to say you have to charge for this kind of stuff, because obviously that'd be kind of cringe, but just a more, and maybe like they could have security. That's another big thing. We didn't really need it. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. There were not any scuffles that I know about. So, like, security is not as big of a concern, but it definitely is like, it's a peace of mind. As somebody, like, if I was in their shoes and we're, standing outside a bar, I know Otoblock hired security, but he only hired one person. And at one point, he was like backed up into a corner because there
Yeah,
was just
dude.
so many people.
That was when we went to meet Dino towards the very end of Saturday night. We went to meet Dino, and there were so many people there talking to him and MMORPG and Oda and Sick Nerd and Solo Mission that, like, Dino was kind of backed against a wall, literally
Mhm.
backed against a corner.
And it wasn't
Like,
even at the
outside
Rosemont.
in
Like, it
no, it was
was
just, like,
it was at the
outside at
bar.
a bar. So it's like it Jagex right said, "Add NHL fights mid PvP match." Oh, that'd be exciting. But no, like, Michael brings up a good point of just, like, maybe Jagex having, like, 1 or 2 security guards floating around the bar area. Like, "Hey, we're gonna do a little pre-party at Bub City. Let's have, like, 2 or 3 bodyguards just like roaming around, because if
Mhm.
there's one thing you guys don't understand, RuneScape creators are gigantic. I don't like Eliop is a tank of a human being. That man is gigantic. Framed is gigantic. Soup is gigantic. No Monkey is surprised. I don't know why I thought No Monkey was not like 6'2". That man is huge, right? Like,
Is he really? Wow.
yeah. But like
I imagined
all
like
like
5'7", 5'8".
dude, I don't know. I don't know why. I was like, oh yeah, maybe like 5'9", 5'10", whatever it is. Like normal person height. No. A lot of
Average,
these
yeah.
people are looking like eye to eye with me down there at 5'5". So a lot of the guys are like big and imposing that are there. Some of them aren't. And regardless, it doesn't really matter, right? Like have a few security people there because when you notice that people are like backed into a corner, you kind of do want to like be a decent human being and step back a little bit, but you also don't want to get your spot cut in line. So it's just a weird like
Exactly.
or be
They
like
just
or just
crowd
have
control of some sort. Like, "Hey, guys, we need
exactly
to back it up. Let's give them some space."
or have security be like, hey Dino, this is the worst spot you could possibly stand for safety reasons,
Exactly.
go stand in the field,
Yeah.
right, where like you
Yep.
don't get like you're not pressed against a wall with people. Oda, go stand in the field, like don't stand against the brick wall, right?
If something did go down, not a safe space to be. Not a safe space for anyone to be, especially in that little alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, even crowded around in the actual event center. There's no organization. If Oda Block was to come in the crowd,
I thought
it
the event center was a
pantomime.
little bit better because the event center has some natural choke points and the event center does have its own security staff and
True.
its own
Yeah.
maintenance staff. So the event center I thought was a little bit better because a lot of where people were meeting was kind of like by the little green room VIP room where if you need to slip out, you just slip right back in. If you went back to that men's bathroom in like the back right hand corner of the arena where a lot of people were meeting, there were
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 people camped at the table there,
Mm.
and I'm pretty sure they were security
Oh, good.
for the meet and greet. So the Rosemont was, I think, a much better venue for it, for
Yeah.
the like meet and greet space, but something just like at the bar specifically for the creators, right? Like the bar had their bouncers. The bouncers don't know who these fucking people are, you
Right.
know? And then if they do respect another critique that people have had in the past, and that Michael and I both were like, yeah, it's actually a really good point. We need more women on the damn DMM All Stars rosters. I don't know much about the PK scene, period, but there's got to be women that PvP. There just fucking has to be.
Yeah.
So if we start diversifying who's there and we get women involved, guys are weird. You can't trust men. You just fucking can't. It's not all men, but it's enough of them. You just can't trust men in those situations. You shouldn't be able to trust men around men either. I mean, that's a whole different conversation, though. I'm not trying to act like some big, strong fucking white knight. I'm just saying it's basic security needs, right? Any woman out there listening knows damn well that if you're going to be surrounded by thousands of dudes, you probably want somebody there watching your back, right? I
Exactly.
think every woman listening knows that is true if you don't know any of the men that are surrounding you with, right? But yeah, some sort of security for next year would be nice for the
Yeah.
creators. But I again, please don't think these are negative critiques. This was a phenomenal event.
Literally,
Phenomenal event.
I'll give it a 9.5. 9.5 out of 10. Amazing. Would do it again. If
I
it was if we had a choice to go back in time, experience it all over again, nothing changed, I would do it again.
oh 100%.
100%. Sunday, you left like 10-ish, 10 a.m.
11, yeah,
Uh,
11:30.
I got to hang out with some Chicago locals. Shout out to my old coworkers. My old coworker and her boyfriend invited me over to their house. And they have kind of like a really cool situation where there's supposed to be a house in front of them, but the owner bought that little plot and made it into like a garden. So they have a yard in the middle of the city, which is really cool.
Hmm.
But it was a rainy day and I went over to their house, played Mario Kart. We went and got ice cream, and then they took me to their pottery studio and I got to learn how to throw clay on a pottery wheel for the first time ever, and it was a really fun experience. So I got to cap my weekend off by just having like a really authentic locals experience of living in the city. Because if it wasn't raining, we probably would have walked most of the places that we went. But a lot of the places, like we went and got food, got Mexican food, got the ice cream, went to the pottery studio. We could have walked to all of that. So it was really fun. I had a good Sunday.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you had a good Sunday, and I think that really does cap off our
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure
That's
that
it.
that caps off everything. It was an amazing weekend. Shout out to Jagex. Shout out to Solo Mission. This has been it was an awesome event to see. 9.9.8 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 would do it again. 9.5 out of 10 would do it again. That's still pretty fucking good. So that's those are our thoughts on Deadman Mode, folks.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this first half of the episode. If you stick around, we'll have some more community focused content, and we'll see you there.
Did you think you could hide from me, mortal?
You know what? Just forget it. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Death, the Grim Reaper, Azrael, ruler of the underworld, and proud father to the best undead dog in all of the known universe. A question, if you will, adventurer. Have you ever died? What am I saying? Of course you have. I've seen you die killing bosses. I've seen you die to other players. I've seen you die to my precariously placed dark wizards. And it says here that you died to... You died to the light puzzle in Akka? Oh my god. My point is, you all die. And if you think you're fancy because you haven't, trust me, you will. That is unfortunately where I come in. Now don't get me wrong, I love what I do, but the workload is exhausting. And for what reward? Do you honestly think I care about the money that you have to spend to retrieve your items? And it's so frustrating. Adventurers are always asking, why is death so expensive? How can I be expected to pay this much money for failing at something I have never done before? They never ask, how is death? What has death's weekend been like? Does death have any plans for Halloween? They're always so self-centered. It's like they don't even remember what dying used to mean before I arrived. And another thing, I am not the reason that you die. No, I am the one who escorts you to the afterlife. You are the one who forgot what a Saradomin brew does. You are the one who decided to chance the man in an infernal cape and Armadil Godsword. And I am not the one who said, hey, what is this boss's max hit? I'm sorry. It's been a long couple of eons. I haven't been out of the house too much. So, yes, I am a bit touchy, I will admit, and I will apologize. But consider this a warning. Soon I will make my return to Gilmore. Not for any evil reason, mind you, more so just to embarrass you in front of your friends. And if you can't handle that, well, try not to die. All I ask is that you be courteous to the ethereal being underneath the hood. Be sure to enjoy yourselves this Halloween, and remember that I am right around the corner, always.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break because I know that I sure did. It is now the part of the episode where we are going to focus on the community. And the first part of that is thanking the patrons. Big shout out to our newest Wise Old Man patron, Corey. Thank you and welcome to the club. On the screen now is all of our other Wise Old Man patrons. Big shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for your support. It's allowed Oxie and I to do some pretty cool things with the money that you guys choose to give to support the show. Deadman Mode finale was one of them. So thank you to all of you for your continued support. And with the money also comes the community aspect of it. And so, especially with the Wise Old Man tier, it's the first tier that you get access to a recording booth and That just makes the show so much more fun to do. So thank you to all of our wise old man patrons. Moving on now to our other shout out tiers. We have two of them. And the next one up is the KBD tier. So starting at the top, big shout out and big thank you to Two to Fly, Oxie's dad, my dad, all of our dad, Cloud Kicker, Crash Out Jack, Yama edition. I think it's still crashing out at Yama apparently.
Yep.
Elite Oreo Dunker, Kieran, Rack XX, our third favorite Patreon supporter, Ralph, Run Metal 15, Ryan M, and the Big G Jordy. So again, thank you to all of our KBD tier patrons. You all are amazing. Last but not least is our Jad tier. Big Bad Jad, as Oxie likes to say. We only have a few here, but we will get to them. So big thank you and big shout out, starting with Fran Skyway, Kyrandia, and Mithrafork. Thank you for sticking with the Jad tier, even though we don't have any new merch offerings yet. But that is something that we hope to change for July. So keep your eyes and ears out for our Patreon and specifically the Jad tier. Starting in July, hopefully we will have more shirt designs that we can offer within that tier. And those are exclusive. Like, as much as I would love to use some of the designs that we make for the Jad tier to put on merch that we sell, it'll never happen because those are exclusive designs only for the Jad tier folks who, subscribe long enough to get a shirt. So thank you again to our Jad tier. And if you want to join our Patreon, you can do so by heading down to the description and finding the link or going to patreon.com/Xpwaste, where we have a bunch of different tiers that you can choose from, ranging from $1 all the way up to the $50 one, like I just mentioned. Again, that's patreon.com/Xpwaste. We appreciate the support. So big thank you for all of our patrons. Moving on now to the community question, where 2 weeks ago we asked you to give us your best PVM hot takes. I'm going to start out on YouTube because that's the one I have pulled up. So getting right into it. First off, we have Saradoman 992. He says, PVM hot take. My time has come. Oh God. Make non-PvP instances for all the wilderness bosses, accessible from Edgeville, for those of us that hate PvP related content. Here's the trade-off. So it's not just a universal buff. Nerf the drops by 75%. An example would be Venanatus. The current unique table is a 1 in 56. Nerf it to a 1 in 85. Then the individual items, for example, could be a treasonous ring is normally a 1 in 512. You could do it to a 1 in 850 and so on and so forth. So just basically make all of the stuff more common, or sorry, less common. And he says, disclaimer, all numbers are approximate and I'm too lazy today to do the math, but you get the point. So yeah, he's listed like the Void Waker and the Dragon Pick, but I kind of agree that that's a hot take, but it's a hot take that I would love to explore. Unfortunately, I think that just goes against the point of the wilderness. Like high risk, high reward, baby. Like, yes, you could make them like you can make a non-PvP instance, but what's the point? No one would do the regular bosses almost ever. So it would become a weird, like, kind of dead content situation where if you could just not risk anything and go in max gear, your trips are going to be faster anyway. So that increased drop rate really isn't doing much because you can go in gear that you normally wouldn't have to. So it would never pass the poll or even be accepted by the community. But unfortunately, it's a hot take that I kind of would want in the game, but also don't want. Sorry, very long-winded for that one. Up next, Deadly RNG says, my hot take, we should move the Din's Bulwark, the Kodai, and the Elder Maul, and D-Claws to the DT2 bosses and reduce the purples at Chambers.
The Kodai, the Elder Maul, the Dins, and the Claws?
Maybe one at each boss, like one drop, one mega rare for each boss. I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know. I like where your head is at. It's just not in the right place yet. Like, Chambers has too many drops. I fully agree. Taking stuff off the Chambers loot table, not a terrible suggestion. Stacking 4 items, 2 of which are mega rares, onto a table or a loot table of bosses that already have 3 pieces of armor, a vestige, and an axe piece, and all the other like teleports and crystals and shit that come along with the DT2 bosses. That's a lot there, brother. That's a lot going on. It's a lot going
Yeah,
on there, brother.
it is. Hypothetically, if this were a viable thing, obviously the Dins goes with Duke, but thematically, I don't know where the other ones would even land.
Claws go with Vardorvis, Kodai goes with Whisperer, and then for some reason, Leviathan is the odd duck. You would have
Yeah.
to leave Dins behind, swap Dins for DHCB, despite Leviathan not being Draconic. It's the only, or the Buckler for Leviathan. Like that makes
Buckler?
sense.
Buckler could.
I think in the long term, moving the door off of the raids drop table and putting it on like probably a new boss. If the door is a big defensive item, I think it'd be an interesting take to give us a boss with just like buku high defense. Like take us back to the old days, right? Not quite like corp level where you have to like do multiple trips, but like take us back to the old top days where like if you don't hit your hammers, it's gonna be a shitty fight. You know, like really give that bitch some defense. And then when you kill it, you have a chance of getting the dins as like the primary reward. Like maybe it wields a dins in its offhand. Like maybe this enemy is so like maybe it's a huge orag or something, or like what Bandos is. Or maybe it's an old like Xershian general or something. So that when you fight it, it has a gigantic axe, and the Din's bulwark is an offhand that slams the ground with and stuns your character or something like that. And you kill it as loot from the boss, and that's where the Din's bulwark goes. Maybe that makes sense. That the shield is so big that you have to hold it with 2 hands. Then maybe the weapon it uses, this big mega boss thing, is also another 2-hand weapon or something like that. Maybe a big 2-handed stab weapon, you know? That
Yeah.
could be fun. And then I think there's also potential. I think either the DHCB, probably not though, because it's themed after Ulm, kind of. Probably Dragon Claws are the next one to leave. It's hard to have a twisted buckler and not have it come from the twisted raid, right? The
Agreed.
Din's bulwark, Din is not exclusive to Chambers of Xeric. Din is like the Doors of Din is something culturally within Zaya, right? So you could put that as a boss in Zaya. And the Dragon Claws fit, they could fit a lot of places. Shit, they could fit at Vardorvis if you really wanted them to, you know?
Yeah.
But
Man, the implications of all that would just be insane. It's a lot to think about.
indeed
So
it is.
moving
That's
on.
why we're not content devs.
Yeah. I don't know how to say this name, but I think it's Spaghetti Elitist. Spaghetti Elitist, but all one word. They say my PVM hot take. Best in slot gear shouldn't be locked behind wave-based content. And the Inferno cape pisses me off. Not because I can't get it, but I simply never will.
You don't know
Spaghetti
that.
Elitist. Spaghetti Heist, maybe? Spaghettiest? Maybe it's Spaghettiest. Yeah, Oxie's right. You never know. Like, I've not written myself off personally.
If
Gotta
I'm
get
being
back in
entirely
there.
honest with you, sounds like you haven't tried. If you're assuming you're not going to get it because Jad was that difficult, it sounds like you haven't tried. Sounds like you haven't gotten in that bitch and planked in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and then made it to triples and were like, oh my God, I am the best PVMer in the world, and then didn't make it past wave 46 for a week. It sounds like you just haven't been up in there. But get up in there and then talk about how you're never going to get it. Right? It's one thing. You send 100 attempts and you don't get that cape. Sure, dude. Took me 112. I get it. It's a lot. If you give up after 100 attempts, sure, you're not going to get it. But it sounds like you haven't even been up in there. Outside
Probably.
of leagues, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
You
not.
know?
Moving on, Spencer says their PVM hot take, by the way, is Scurious is harder than Moons. And as I'm thinking about it, they're both like challenging in their own way. Scurious has more, I think, introductory mechanics to go through and learn, but it's also very easy. Maybe if you're in like the gear appropriate, Scurious could be more difficult. Like if you're wielding an adamant longsword and full rune, it could be harder. But I don't know if I agree with this one. Moons is not hard, but I do think that maybe it's just a different time in the game. One's early game, one's mid game.
I
That's a hard
think
one.
I think the hardest part about moons for me is that they just beat the shit out of you. Like,
Yeah, they
I
really
do
do.
not understand how the eclipse moon works. Every time she hits you, she just gets buku fucking defense. Every time blue moon hits you, your attack gets slowed to 8 ticks. Every time blood moon hits you, it can heal for like 18,000 times the damage that it deals to you. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's moons is difficult because it is a DPS check. That's the way I feel moons is compared to Scurious. I think Scurious teaches you a lot of very important mechanics that all crammed together into one boss fight can be a little overwhelming. Because even doing that bitch in leagues with garbage low level gear, it is a stressful fight. But Moons just beats the shit out of you. And Moons definitely is more challenging movement. I'll give you that. Moons has a very challenging movement. You got to learn about True Tile to avoid the tornadoes. You got to learn about True Tile to stand in front of the little shield thing, which is a mechanic that I love. I love that they added bits and pieces of end game content into Moons, right? Like, you basically have to Verzik walk the Jaguars at a 5 tick speed. You have to kind of keep to the leading edge of the shield at the Eclipse Moon, which is what you do in the Zuck fight. And then at the Blue Moon, you got to be able to see things that are underneath you, which could be Nightmare and Nex. And you have to avoid the tornadoes, which could be a variety of different content, like the lightning in chambers, knowing where to and not to stand and how to true tile through that so you don't get hit. So I think Moons offers some interesting movement, but Moons is hard because it just like the
He's
entire
already
time.
down.
Stop. He's already dead. Like, that's exactly how it feels fighting the Moons. Again,
Yes.
tell me if I'm crazy for thinking that. But
I don't think so. They're just different styles of content, and they both can be challenging for those who are learning at first.
yeah,
So,
mistakes are not punished nearly as hard at Scurious. I think that's what kind of makes it a little bit easier when they put them toe to toe. Is like, you make a mistake at Blood Moon, you're gonna fucking die. Blood Moon's gonna get back up to full health, and you're gonna fucking die. But Scurious, you're gonna take like a 15. You know?
yeah, it's that DPS check that if you're not doing enough damage, it's just going to overheal or out heal rather. It's going to out heal you, and you're going to get nowhere. So definitely difficult. Moving on though, we have a couple more here on YouTube. Next up, Dev Mason says we should remove the CG timer, and then they say please debate this again, and I don't think we will. I really don't. So moving on, moving on, and last here on YouTube. Schmidtstain says, a movement-based fight, and this is their PVM hot take. A movement-based fight is 10 times more fun than gear switching or prayer switching. For example, Vard is fun because of the movement. Same with Vorkath and Wook's walking. Zulra is lame because of the gear switching, and Leviathan is lame because of the prayer switching.
Yeah, right. Zulra, that boss where you historically stand in the same spot.
The gear
Leviathan,
switching.
that boss where you historically stand still. Saying
They're saying
movement fights
movement
are more
is better.
interesting.
Yes, movement fights are better.
It's personal
Where
preference,
the
dog.
Yeah, it's their hot take though. It's their
It's-
personal
I
hot take.
mean, hot take it up then, King. I don't know. That's
Well, moving on to Spotify, we have a couple here as well. First off, Fizzman15 says PVM hot take. Jagex should make a bunch more mid-game bosses, specifically to reach each type of player, specifically to teach each type of mechanic. The mechanics make the end-game bosses challenging, but awesome. It get good practice in a safer environment. Doing Huey, movement, and some prayer, Scurious, which is prayer, and Royal Titans, which is gear, has been very helpful and would love to see these mechanics explored more. Fizzman, I don't think this is a hot take. I really don't. I mean, sometimes the endgame community gets up in arms when there's not enough content being spoon-fed to them. But overall, I don't think this is a hot take.
to say. I don't
really
think
don't.
this has anything to do with the end game community. I think this is entirely based around the early to mid game community. You know?
Do the
And
early and mid-game community not want content? I don't know.
What? I don't think it's that they don't want content. I think you don't know what you don't have.
True.
You know, I think we as end game players We know what we have and don't have. You know, if you're
Hmm.
just starting the game, you really don't have any idea what's going on. You know, you don't
Right.
have that concept of, oh wow, I really wish there was a way I could learn how to do this without losing 100K every single time. You know?
Yeah, I'm making the point that it's not a hot take. It's not a negative thing to want bosses that teach mechanics. So, moving on, we have Melvin Man, a classic in the community question here. My PVM hot take: the magic system is fine, and the shadow is fine. Okay, that's a little bit more of a hot take.
Bro, he's just saying things that piss me off. What's the logic? What's the
Yeah.
follow up? Other than
What are
the
we?
shadow is just fine.
That's what we're dealing
Because
with here.
like
That's it.
the shadow is fine because the shadow is fun to use. I will never say the shadow is not a fun boss or a fun weapon to use. Shadow absolutely rips. It's great. It's bad for the game. I think
Mm,
the shadow is bad, and I will say it. I really think they should do something to address the magic damage problem, or we are going to be in some shit for the next several years. Again, call me biased. I quite like the suggestion to split elemental and powered staff damage, giving ancestral the buff to the powered staff damage while also giving elementals a space to shine and
mm,
making elementals equal the shadow and better than the shadow at some places, because currently we're capped on mage damage design space because we cannot do anything else higher than what we currently have because of the shadow. This is not a debate that we have time to get into. It's midnight.
right.
We can't get into this because I will. Michael knows I will.
Yeah, we got to move on. And speaking of moving on, we have two more here on Spotify. Next up, Wingram says, lukewarm take. We should be able to log out during instanced solo content without kicking us out of the activity, like the fight caves in Inferno. This could be done in, say, a TOA hub room and have it remember which bosses you've killed. Or, and this one's for you, Michael, in the Gauntlet starting room, you can pause the timer. There's likely technical considerations here, but Jagex is a billion-dollar company. I looked it up, and they can find a way. As a big mobile gamer, this would be huge.
Okay. Why do you want to log out at solo instance content? Like, what solo instance content are you doing that you're getting kicked out of that you don't want to log out? That is a big time investment. I can think of one example, and that's Coliseum. Because
Mm,
doing a Colo run and getting to wave 10 and having to log out feels like shit because you have to like leave the fight because you can't log out in the middle of the Coliseum. But other than that, a lot of the solo instance fights that come to my mind are usually pretty short, or they have built-in pauses, right? Like think of a lot of solo instances, right? Zulrah is one that comes to mind. Zulrah takes like 3 minutes to 45 seconds. Just kill it and log out afterwards. The boss is dead, and you're just like sitting there. Just
mhm.
log out after that. Like, obviously, no, you probably can't log out on like a wave 15 Doom room. Just like claim your shit and leave at that point. I don't know. I don't disagree where it's relevant. I just don't know where it's relevant.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, the biggest one that I could think of is God Wars, but if you log out of a God Wars instance and you have KC, does it put you outside the room or does it put you back
No,
inside
if
the
it's a
room?
private instance, it will put you outside the room, I'm pretty sure, but you don't lose the KC when you log out.
Oh, really?
I'm
Okay.
pretty, yeah, it's how you world hop. You don't lose the KC when you log out. Jake's right brings up a good point. He says he understands what he's saying, so you can stop what you're doing while on mobile. I guess you do lose KC when you leave a private instance. I did not know that because that's not how that works for Nex. When you leave a private instance, you don't lose it there. And I'm not sure that I didn't think you lost it in the other ones, but either way, you don't lose KC. You don't lose KC. Sorry, my bad. You don't lose KC at God Wars. But he says, let's say you got to deal with like your kid or something at work and you're playing on mobile that like it's inconvenient. And I think part of that is also the issue of the mobile logout timer, because the mobile logout timer is 30 minutes when the screen is on. But if you lock your phone or minimize RuneScape, it's a hardware limitation, right? Like where you'll just log out after a minute of inactivity. And it's really fucking inconvenient. Like this is a problem everywhere, like if something happens. So
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, where like this is a shortfall for mobile. I don't disagree, but like I said, I just don't see where this is a huge problem. I'm talking
Yeah.
a lot this community question. Y'all getting me going. Getting me
Yep.
going.
Well, in the spirit of shutting Oxie up, we have the last one here, and it's from Millimeter Peter.
God
It
damn.
said PVM hot take. All instance boss deaths should be treated like Zulrah. You get free deaths until you get 50 KC. I am tired of spending millions every time I try to learn a boss. And that got some heart reactions here on Spotify. So I think that is a commonly shared hot
I was
take.
gonna say, I may have been one of the people to heart react that. I have been saying that since I learned how to kill Zulrah 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That the Zulrah death system, the forgiveness system, is the greatest way to learn those instance bosses. I think they should have put that in for Vorkath when it came
Oh
out.
yeah.
I
100%.
think Vorkath needs that really bad. I think some places that like you shouldn't be doing until you're in the end game and money's not really an object. When you die at Coliseum, pay money to get your shit. I think if you have to collect your things from a vessel that isn't a gravestone, the first 50 KC could be free. This applies notably at Hydra, for example. There's a chest at Hydra. There's a chest at Nightmare and Fazani's Nightmare. A chest, you like claim it back from somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anywhere that has like you died, your loot got collected by an NPC or a chest or something, it should be free for the first X amount of KC. Maybe it gets less as the bosses get harder, right? Like being able to do 50 Fazani's Nightmare KC with literally no GP investment outside of supply usage could not be a great idea. So maybe the first 10 Fazani's Nightmare KC are free. And the first 25 Hydra are free because you have 95 Slayer and Hydra is not that hard. Once you get the rhythm down, Hydra is not that hard. It's not like Fazani's where it's like, oh, it's not that hard. More like it actually is really fucking hard to learn. Hydra is not that hard to learn.
Hydra could sneak up on you if you're not paying attention.
Bro, don't get me wrong. I
experience.
die to Hydra all the fucking time. I die to
Right.
Hydra because I'm a greedy bitch and I don't pay attention to the fight. So I'm like 30 HP. I'm fine. And then I look over at something and I'll go, what attack was that? Especially in the enraged phase. I'll go, what did he just hit me with? And then bam, I'll get smacked for a 40 because I pray the wrong thing. I die to Hydra all the fucking time. But it's because I'm a lazy piece of shit who doesn't pay attention. Not because I'm bad at the game, but I don't think this is a hot take at all. I think it might be a hot take for some people. I think this is a fantastic take. I love that idea.
I agree. Anything that's going to help people learn content, I think is a good take.
Here.
But that's going to do it for the community question. Thank you so much to everyone who answered the question. If you want to answer this week's question, it will be basically, we want to hear from you on what events do you think that Jagex could do in the US? What types of events? So they did DMM All-Stars. What types of events could they do in the US? And what cities do you think would be better if they didn't do it in Chicago? So give us an event idea and a city in which you think it could be really fun.
And justify why, right? Don't
why,
just give us,
yeah.
tell us why we're going there, right?
Exactly.
Thogert suggested Kalamazoo, Michigan. Why are we going to Kalamazoo, Michigan, right? Tell us why. Tell us why.
And if it's like, this is my hometown, that's enough of a good reason because nobody wants to travel. So if you can be selfish, be selfish. Why not? You can answer that question in the comments section on Spotify or as a reply to the pinned comment on this YouTube video. Throwing it on now to my handsome co-host for Achievement of the Week.
Hell yeah. All right, folks. It's Achievement of the Week time. We actually have substantially more achievements than we had last time. I remember I was looking through these. I was like, God damn, y'all popped off these last couple of weeks. We're going to kick things off in the skilling category this week. Mike Tendo achieved 99 fishing. Remac achieved 99 thieving. Alpha Hotel Quebec, good old AHQ, achieved 99 construction. Brian M achieved 99 mining, attack, strength, and defense. Remac's wife, I believe it was slightly Delulu, little Delulu, something like that, barely Delulu. She got 99 woodcutting, first ever 99. Very exciting. Congratulations. Big Fig BC achieved 99 construction. UU achieved 99 farming. HCIM iSpank AYO achieved 99 mining and 99 range. 877 Cash Now achieved 99 hit points. Rat Sorcerer, aka Cole the Psychopath, achieved 99 defense. Still has the untrimmed mining cape. What an absolute Chad. Love you, Cole. Chips FE achieved 99 fire making. Clay achieved 99 agility. My Culk is Mad achieved 99 mage. C-Mac achieved 99 range. And Weft achieved 99 range as well. A couple of total levels for us this week. The Devil Egg achieved 2K total level, and Mr. Microwave achieved 2350 total level. Welcome to the new worlds, folks. Especially Microwave, them 2350 worlds are the best. Fucking awesome. And then finally, in the skilling category, a pretty monumental achievement here. Frozen City achieved 200 million HP. Congratulations on securing your spot as rank 2,390 on the hit points high scores, Mr. Frozen City. Congratulations. Moving on over now to the miscellaneous category this week, we have 3 quest capes. So big shout out to VBD Spaceman, Papa Smurf, and our buddy Rune. Congratulations on earning your quest capes this week, right? Continuing on in the miscellaneous category, both Dice Hunter, not the same as Dice, by the way. We've discovered Dice and Dice Hunter are not the same people. I feel like I knew that, but they had like a Spider-Man meme moment in levels and achievements the other day. Dice Hunter and Yu achieved both their diary capes. Congratulations. Yu also pulling the big double-double. And then we have an interesting in-game achievement that I don't think I've ever seen anybody I know complete before. Michael actually showed me this. I think it was at breakfast on Saturday when it happened. Mima green logged the Slayer log.
Damn.
After something like, what does it say here? 1,544 brimstone keys. Mima has all 88 Slayer collection log slots. It's very impressive.
That's
Sometimes when like
nuts.
a mega impressive collection log comes out, you just gotta shout that out, man. People are dedicated.
The big notable thing in that is the Dusk Mystic that just
Mhm.
takes forever. But that's
a lot of
very,
things
very
in that
impressive.
fucking collection log take forever, dude.
Yeah,
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you,
you
it's
got-
a long log to complete. Get the
I
imbued
have-
heart.
I have 35 of 88. That's really impressive, Mima. So huge GZ.
Yeah, it is. There's some shit in this category. I'll tell you what. This is Aquanite Hopper, Aquanite Tendon, Basilisk Jaw, all of Dusk Mystic, all of the Ancient Ceremonial Gear, Imbued Heart, all of the Slayer boss heads from Crawling Hand up through Abyssal Head, and then the Wyvern Visage and the Draconic Visage. Just to name a few like giga fucked ones in that log, you know? But
Pretty crazy.
yeah, stepping on over though, we're in the miscellaneous category still for 2 more very fun outside of RuneScape achievements. Bear achieved 99 wife and got married. Congratulations, my friend. Or 99 husband. I don't actually know which one Bear was. Looking at the picture, Bear could have been either one of them, if I think about it. Let me scroll up through Achievement of the Week, find it. Upgraded from 99 fiance on Monday. Married at the courts, but the wedding celebration is in September. Huge W. And honestly, Bear achieved 99 spouse. I don't know which one of you is Bear. I really don't. You have your profile picture is unsurprisingly a bear. I don't know. Either new husband or new wife. W Bear. Either way, congratulations. And finally, in the miscellaneous category, Ketone, aka Thor, had a funny feeling like he's being followed for the second time and had his second child. Congratulations, Ketone. That
Yay.
one, we are sure that you are not the baby. We are sure that you're not the baby. We're like 99% sure that you're not the baby in that picture. Maybe 90, maybe we're 50% sure, 92% sure. You know, who knows? But anyways, that's our miscellaneous category this week. We have 5 achievements in the combat achievements category, and they are all big ones. First up, we have Remac with the double-double this week, who completed both the Gauntlet and the Corrupted Gauntlet. I did not know Remac had never touched this content on this account because he got 2,300 total level as well this past week. And I thought you would have done that by 2,300, but like, hell yeah, dog. Go get that Bofa King. White Light Wes achieved his elite combat achievements. Congratulations. Barrington Ben achieved their Missouri kit. Clay with the double-double and our designated Yamatutor achieving Radiant Oath Plate. Very, very impressive. And we're going to talk about a PVM hot take. One of the hottest armor sets in the game. If I'm being into, I fucking love Radiant Oath Plate. I think it looks great. Finally, capping off both the combat achievements section of Achievement of the Week and the entirety of Achievement of the Week this week, one of our boss tutors, our longtime buddy Fish, on his birthday, completed Perfect Theater and achieved the Grand Master Combat Achievement Help.
He did it.
Congratulations
go.
to you, Fish. His advice to everyone is do not save Perfect Theater for last. And having never done Perfect Theater, I can't imagine that it's super fun to try to do as your very last CA. But yes, don't save Perfect Theater for the end like Fish, but it doesn't matter now because Fish is a GM. Welcome to the party, my friend. I believe you're our second GM boss tutor. I believe it's Fish and Riley are our GM boss tutors. Cloud next. Get off your ass, Cloudwin. Go do Perfect Theater. No, he has Perfect Theater done. He's done that like 5 times. Get off your ass, Cloudwin, and go do, what do you need? Coliseum? Doom? Whatever it is, go do it. Let's have a boss tutor group full of GMs. Cloudwin, you're next. Get on it. And then Elvin is next after that. Or Eckhart can be in there somewhere too. I want Elvin
You
to
get a
as
GM.
I
You
want
get a GM.
Elvin to get as close to GM as possible without getting his Infernal Cape. That's what I want for Elvin, if it's possible. I think that would be the funniest thing ever. It was like Mima when he got the Verzik helm without the Infernal Cape. That was great. But congratulations to you, Fish, for this monumental achievement. You've beat the game. Now you can finally go have some fun. And congratulations to everyone who did something awesome this week on Achievement of the Week. If you did something awesome and you want to tell us about it, head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Post about it in the levels and achievements chat. Whether it is a major achievement like a 200 mil or a GM helm or a completion of an absolutely fucked collection log. If you're one of the first people to complete the third age log, post about it in our Discord. We'd love to see that. Shit, you finished the third age log, we might have you on the show. Talk about that level of dedication. Possibly autism, but we'll see. But it doesn't have to be that as well. A lot of people post like, hey, I completed my first ever TOA. I completed my first ever expert deathless TOA, which also was Barrington Bent. Funny enough, some people are talking about, finishing drops and getting total levels. Literally, our buddy Toilet just posted about getting base 60s on the groupie. Like,
Cute.
every achievement is worth posting because we have, what is it, Michael? The best old school RuneScape community in the world. Discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Normally, there are raiders raiding. It is 12:30 in the morning on a Sunday night. No, on a Monday night. It's 12:30 in the morning on a Monday. Ain't nobody up doing content right now on the East Coast anyways. We're all going to bed. So with that, Michael and I are also going to be going to bed in a minute because we got one more thing to do before we leave. Michael, my friend, do you have a fun question for us this week?
I do. And it's off the
Excellent.
dome.
Off the
Because
dome, okay.
I haven't gone to the PO box in a few weeks, so I don't know if there's any postcards there. But
Okay.
our fun questions channel has been kind of quiet over the last few weeks as well. So this one's off the dome, and I don't know if it's a good one, but we'll roll with it. So Oxie, I want to know what inanimate object you would possess or inhabit rather, just for the sheer fact in RuneScape that you could people watch, because we did a lot of people watching this weekend. I know I did. There's so many people, could just get a lot of people watching in. So kind of inspired by that. But what inanimate object would you inhabit so that you could people watch in old school RuneScape?
I feel like the best inanimate object to be to people watch in old school RuneScape is without question. Let me see if it's like an actual examinable object. Okay. I would be the Southwestern Grand Exchange booth. That is labeled as an examinable object. I would be the Southwestern Grand Exchange booth because you could probably see the most people all the time. That seems like the place to see. Literally everybody goes to the GE. Iron Man or not, everybody goes to the GE, and I think it'd be a really just interesting thing to be. If not that, because I just teleported there to talk with the Leagues tutor because I'm reminded that I might have Leagues rewards on this account. 13,000 points. That's barely any Leagues rewards from like 4 leagues worth of playing. I would be the southern. I'd be the southeasternmost bush on the pathway up to Lumbridge Castle. So there's 3 in a row, and then there's 2 bushes just off to the other side of the path. I would be that southern bush, and just like be the first thing people experience on their journey. Like, look at all you new folks. Welcome to the party. Those are the 2 inanimate objects. I don't know if they're what you were thinking, but those are the 2
No,
inanimate
exact yeah.
objects that come to mind when I think of that. You know,
People watching. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because I instantly thought somewhere in the GE, like maybe one of the pillars next to the arch that's holding up that little arch around the walls there in the GE. But the bank booth or the GE booth would be a great spot to people watch. You can already do that. I mean, you can already people watch. Like you just stand around, but like if nobody knew you were there and they were just playing the game and maybe interacting with other people. But mine, besides the GE, I would love to just watch people play the game for the first time. And so that I think there's like either like a lamppost or a road sign next to the goblins by the Alcarid Gate.
mm-hmm.
And maybe it's like the Alcarid Gate just in general. That little area would be fun to watch in like a free to play world. Just a bunch of free to play people. I almost said kids. Free to play people because like kids play the game, but it's mostly adults. Just killing goblins, being really silly, doing noob
Mm-hmm.
stuff. As far as like a high level PVM spot to chill, maybe the rewards chest in the top lobby, so you could see what everybody gets, and maybe when they pull a mega rare or a purple, it's a big. Well, you wouldn't do that from the lobby, but the rewards chest in the lobby at top would be kind of fun. I was trying to think of if is there's anything like in the actual raid that would be fun, but maybe the chains that Verzik hangs on would be a fun thing to inhabit because you could watch all these people
Hey,
kill
yo.
Verzik.
Hey, yo.
Don't make it weird. But I just like people watching, so anywhere is good as long as there's people. There's an influx of people to do. Is there anything that would be funny, like a funny place to sit and watch people mess up? Can't really think of anything. Like any agility
Dude,
shortcuts
no,
or
I know. I'd be the fucking box on top of the Sears agility shortcut. It'd be,
the
when you
box?
go, dude, you go from
Is
you
there a
jump from
crate?
the bank onto the place where the elemental workshop is, and you take that little tightrope across.
Yeah.
I'd be the fucking crate that's up there because you search it for a clue scroll.
Oh,
I'd be the
okay.
crate and just watch people eat shit and crash out at their very first thing. Or because I know I crashed out there quite a bit, I would be the pull booth in the East Ardorian Bank and watch people get just fucking pissed off while they're trying to thieve the Artie Knight with too low a level,
Yeah. Ooh, what about something one of the like obstacles in floor 5 that just gets everyone? Be fun to watch people crash out there. You can
The
inhabit one of the
northernmost
flames.
fire shooter on floor 5. Yeah.
Yeah, the last flame one, and then maybe you could go rogue and flame off tick and mess somebody up and then never do it again. They're like, I swear it happened. I swear this flame was off tick. Just you haunting the sepulcher. But that's a fun question. Thank you so much, Oxie, for your wonderful answer.
Hell yeah.
And that's also the episode, folks. Thank you for hanging out. If you got this far, appreciate you so much for listening and engaging with the show. If we saw you at Dead Man Mode, thanks for coming and saying hi. And if you didn't come and say hi and you saw us there, maybe next time. Maybe we'll see you at RuneFest. But Dead Man Mode was a lot of fun. Even though we're dog tired, still a lot of fun to recap the event. I'm going to be living off the hype of that for weeks to come, I think. So, and it's going to like propel us into like the hype for RuneFest because I'm already hyped for
Oh, yeah.
RuneFest and we
It's
haven't
good.
even bought plane tickets yet. So
Mhm.
it's going to be so much fun.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you want to check out more about Xpwaste and all the stuff that we have to offer, you can check out the links in our description. Check out the merch store for all of our Pride merch. The last 2 Pride merch drops we've had over the last 2 years, all of those designs are 15% off. So if you like this XP Waste in a rainbow colors. You can grab that for 15% off. So, and all the proceeds are going to go to a charity that helps support the LGBTQ community. So give that a look, and specifically within the month of June. If you buy anything, and you still have a
One
few
more
days
week.
once this episode comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good stuff. So you might as well.
And we did
like it.
show Mod North this year's designs, so
He liked them.
he is aware that we have Pride merch.
Yeah, and he said they were good.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're good. We made them.
Yeah. But again, that's the episode, folks. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.